We have soul ties, the people we sleep with, the contract with the devil. We have to make a decision. This is the life I'm choosing to escape. All your old friends, your old identity has to pass away for you to become new wine. You have to be a new person. Then you step into the identity God had for us, right? So if you're watching this and you're in those chains, if you're in a trap house watching this video looking for answers, like I did with Derek Prince's Demon Gangs video, just know that you could turn right now. Go get help right now. The life of your entire dreams and even beyond is available to you when you follow the Lord Jesus Christ.
Welcome to Recovery Inspired Hope. I'm so excited to bring you part 2 of this amazing series with my friend Boston Born Again, the amazing author of this book, Fire and Ice, the Meth Bible. This book explains the crazy demonic world of meth and how the only way to get out of it is through Jesus Christ, God, deliverance, and fighting the satanic realm and demonic entities that come in this crazy world of meth. All right, my friend, what's up? Here we are again.
Yep, here we are exposing the truth. Let's not get it twisted. The devil hates us, Jamie Tollett. He hates what we're doing here, exposing the meth game for what it is, a twisted carnival that the devil sets up in every major city, in every rural community, and every little town in between to break the spirits and kill the souls of God's children.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it is such a fight. And we've been getting so much feedback, from these videos. I mean, it is crazy how many people have experienced this, how many people have experienced deliverance, how many people have received hope for deliverance because of this book and because of these videos. So, this work is not going unseen. So we are saving lives. We are giving people hope through exposing this, that there is hope, there is a way to get out. So in this, I am currently on chapter 4 of your book. The driver stakes are high, right? And so we really start to get into how you got into this taxi cabbing. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, I was on a 2-year purposeful suicide mission in the world of crystal methamphetamines. I just happened to get a job as a nighttime cab driver by chance. That's where God put me for my little detour into hell. And then I started to really get into the meth game, okay, what we're talking about today. Now, my clientele, I was there and I was doing drugs, and the clientele exposed me to the game, roped me in. I loved the excitement of it all. I loved the sleaze and the grime. I mean, I was there for a lot of different reasons. It wasn't just the drugs. The lifestyle grabs us as much as the actual drug does, the sex, the excitement of it all. And if it wasn't fun in the beginning, nobody would become a meth addict, okay? The devil has schemes, right? So territories is what we've been talking about lately, principalities. This is a traveling carnival that the devil springs up all over this country, all over the world, and it entraps so many people. And now we're starting to talk about it truthfully, and it's amazing the response we're getting now that people are seeing us come out with it, the courage people are having. I'm not going to sound crazy if I talk about my experiences. I'm going to voice what happened to me out there. And what we're doing here is setting the captives free. We have to expose the meth game, and it is a game. So many moving parts, so many reasons, and so much going on out there that we have to tell it for what it is. We're not just out there just for the drugs, are we, Jamie?
Oh, absolutely not. I did a reel on Facebook regarding the part in the book where you're talking about the club life, introducing yourself into the club life. I worked in strip clubs, and I danced, and I waitressed, I bartended, I did all of the above. And, it was the life, you know what I mean? gives you this false sense of ego, and it feels like you're a part of something, you know, and
Right.
there is power in it, and it is like a false sense of like, you know, we feel like, oh, we finally found where we belong, we're making great money, because there's good money in it, right? There's
Right.
damn good money working in the strip club. And then, oh, and we get to get messed up all the time. Oh,
Right.
and it's, you know, I mean, now dancing, I will say dancing is it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
you will you will develop some muscles in your legs. You got to get good at, you know, at things.
Right.
You know, but it's like you get to do what you want to do when you want to do. You want to tell somebody off, you can do that. They'll probably like it.
Yeah. Now look at me, look at my part I played in that. I was a strip club manager in real life during that time, right? That was based on my real life. So the devil sent me in there not only to break me, but I was breaking other people, young women. I had a speech. Hey, honey, you can make $100 a night waitressing, or you can make $1,000 a night dancing. Choice is yours. What's a sick girl gonna do? Now, childhood trauma, addiction, mental health issues. They're all the perfect storm that grab young women, grab all of us in. And that's what the devil uses to rope us in. And once we get a taste of that drug, when we get a taste of that fast life, that fast money, there ain't no turning back. We are now in chains, and we enter into a contract with Satan unknowingly until we break the chains with Jesus Christ. Now, the life is exciting, okay? The life is very exciting. When you're out there driving around, drug dealers for a living, when you're working with prostitutes, check cashers, when you're hanging with money printers and identity thieves, and your life is like a Die Hard movie on meth, I would think to myself, how am I going to go stock shelves at Walmart after this? The life trapped me. Okay, not thinking that I could go for my dreams. I thought that my life was over, but it was still, it was like I was a zombie, right? Why do we all have nicknames out there? Tell me that's not demonic. We take on these brand new identities, okay, and that's who we become, and then we get this distorted idea of who this new person is, and we start living up to those expectations in our mind. We become who the devil tells us to become out there in the game.
Absolutely, absolutely, which is so far from our true identity that is in Jesus, right? Um,
The opposite.
yeah, exactly the opposite. And you're so right, because it was like, you know, I when I got my first strip club job, I was waitressing at Applebee's, okay? And
Yeah.
my baby daddy, he ended up going to jail, so I'm a single mom. I got a 9-month-old baby, and waitressing at Applebee's, I'm behind on the bills. You know, I remember I worked 30 days straight without a day off at Applebee's to try to make up the money. Well, this girl that I waitress with, she's like, hey, why don't you come work over here with me at the strip club? And I was like, I don't know if I could do that. Man, let me tell you, it wasn't too long before I quit that job at Applebee's because
Right.
the money I was making at the strip club, you know what I mean? And it gave me a false sense of worthiness. Like, you're talking about the women in there, mental health, broken, trauma, right? When I was in there, I remember the first time, it was the first time in my life I thought, wow, I must really be worth something if these
Right.
people are paying money just for me to dance on them. Like, I must really have some kind of worth. And that was the first time in my life at 26 years old that I thought I was worth something.
Right. And every person of value who actually loved me abandoned me because they didn't want to watch me commit suicide slowly. Right. So then I'm out there with these group of people. Now I'm the cab driver. I'm a meth game all-star. Everybody knows my nickname. I'm driving around people. I'm making money. I'm working for drugs. Basically, it was all a facade. It was all a great lie. It was propped up by smoke and mirrors. It was all lies of the enemy. Every single day when I thought I was a superstar, I was being broken sexually, mentally, physically, spiritually. The devil invaded my life, and I now worked for him. And my greatest thing that I think that I did, for the enemy was I took other people down with me. I was a bad influence, and I destroyed people's lives that way. And it's ripples in a pond that go out forever. Every time we throw a stone, it goes out into eternity. And now I live my life to try to do the exact opposite. I work for God today, okay? I think that the only way is to expose it like we're doing here. I was locked up 3 years ago today. I have achieved more in the last 3 years than my mind could ever have dreamed. Okay. So that thought of how am I going to stock shelves at Walmart? You know, I started at a gas station when I came out. You've got to detox from the game. The lifestyle, the fast money, the always being somewhere at 2 o'clock in the morning, no matter what time of night, you got action, you got something going on. The hustler in you will never die. Okay. You're always going to want the action. That's just part of who we are. We are, I mean, it's a full-time job out there feeding an addiction, right? So today I just refocus that part of me and I use it for good. Now I'm writing books. I have a business career. I have a successful marriage. And I just want to say this, the devil hates when people from the meth game come out, beat it, and get married. That is our ministry.
Mhm.
Marriages are so important because we have prostitutes, we have, you know, bag chasers, like I talk about in Fire and Ice, the Meth Bible, all coming out of that life, finding Jesus, and now being in love with one person, respecting themselves and their body, shining for God, big careers, achieving all kinds of things. We are living proof that escaping this tragic carnival the devil set up is completely possible. And that's why the devil hates videos like this.
Absolutely. And you're so right about, like the ripple effect. And, I remember when I first came into recovery and it really hit me the fact that, I own two escort services and me being out there, I'm like, how many homes did I break? How many marriages did I defile
Right.
in me just trying to make money and me thinking like, it was like we were talking about before with like the false sense of ego, like, oh, he's sleeping with me instead of his wife and I'm getting paid for it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it was like so sick, the twisted thoughts. Meanwhile, I am breaking up like the thing that God deems the most beautiful, holiest, like
Holy.
sanctified thing is the
Oh man.
marriage bed. You know what I mean? And it didn't hit me till I came into recovery that I had deep repentance for all of the families that I had hurt in the things that I did, in the things that the girls that I sent out did, and I just thought it was fun and games. I got my rocks off on it. I thought it was hilarious.
Right.
And it's just terrible. And then coming into recovery, I waitress at IHOP for like $30 a night.
So the shame of that keeps us going out there. You remember what you've been doing, what you did the night before, you get high to forget it, then you keep doing the same things. There are people who are going to watch this video that are trapped in the game right now. They're going to see this. Thousands watch that last video, okay? They're going to watch this video and they're going to say, okay, maybe there's a chance that I can break free. Remember, God sent Christ to the cross knowing all of your sins. He's atoned for everything we've done. But when we come to the realization that Christ died for our sins, it's now on us to repent, stop what we're doing, and then forgive ourselves. If we don't forgive ourselves to move forward, we are in direct rebellion for what Christ died for and direct rebellion for what God's will is for our life. It's just you realize that, and then it's time to focus, move forward. We work for God now. This is a living amends. And it's not easy what we're doing, Jamie Tall, because I've had people message me through my TikTok since that video came out and stuff. And they saw my TikTok through that video. They messaged me through there. And one guy told me, you should not be talking about this. Those are spiritual things that you should not talk about. There are people who are angry that we're setting the captives free. Those people are still working for the devil.
Yes, I got some similar messages actually. Also, and people send me a message and then like block me, especially when talking about we were talking about like the gang stalking and things like that. Can we touch on that? Because so many people have so many questions. There are so many people stuck like in the bondage of this and they're looking for, an answer. And I can give like some tips on how to keep yourself safe, but we can't give a fleshly, worldly answer for a spiritual issue.
You're dealing with demons. Do you remember in the club scene that you read part of that book on a Reels? The part about diamond eyes. When you're looking around the room, you feel diamond eyes. Though that was me just trying to relive those moments, right? I was surrounded by people that were demonically controlled in every place I went because the game is everywhere. That's the only place we live, okay, is within that game. To break free, to be clean off meth, to be a 2%er for life, you have to cut ties with literally every person that you know in the game until you see them walk into a meeting or church or whatever it's going to be. We have soul ties, the people we sleep with, the contract with the devil. We have to make a decision. This is the life I'm choosing to escape. All your old friends, your old identity has to pass away for you to become new wine. You have to be a new person. Then you step into the identity God had for us, right? Like we were talking about. And then you start feeling self-love. When I found out that God was feeling me, I started feeling me, Jamie Tall. And now I know I can do anything that he says I can do. Now, I called Fire and Ice the METH Bible. Some people said it was blasphemous. I looked up the definition of Bible. It's a book that is the authority on a subject. And I called that book that because that is the most raw depiction of the METH lifestyle. That book is the truth, 718 pages about the life that we used to live. And that book is going to set captives free. And that's for the person who's out there high reading the book like you used to read the Bible. Remember, 16 hours a day. Somebody's going to pick up that book and go, this man escaped. This man escaped, and so can I. And that's why God had me write that book, as bad as it was, because the truth needed to be told to expose the devil's carnival.
Exactly. Because people are stuck in it and they may not even know how deep they're stuck in it. They think they're just having fun. They think they're out there just partying, having a good time. And they don't realize that when you are smoking meth, when you are shooting meth, like when you are doing these things and having sex with people, like you were saying, you're creating these soul ties. Like you are like stuck. It's like an invisible cord that is connected to the demonic realm that keeps you. It keeps you there. And
it's a shame. And just so to answer your question, I didn't mean to get away from that, but gang stalking, you can just assume that if you're in the meth game, you are being maliciously gang stalked by even your best friends, okay? The whole thing is everyone wants to see you lose. You can trust no one. Your best friends are not friends at all. It's all an illusion. And you're out there and everyone is just breaking each other. Escape now before it's too late and the life of your dreams is ahead. Gang stalking, everyone in the myth game is rooting for you to lose, period.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that was such a hard pill for me to swallow when I came into recovery. Like, wow, these people didn't care about me. They didn't care about me at all. Like they were using me, they were abusing me, they were passing me around like I was a joke,
Right.
And they had my head, they were, Satan's army prancing around with my head on a stick, like, ha ha, God, look what we've got. We've got one of yours, and look what we're doing to her. I mean, they just parade and make a skeptical of you. And it's terrible when you're in the middle of it, because it's heartbreaking, especially if you are, one of God's chosen ones. Like you want to, think the best of people, and you want to think like, oh no, this isn't that big of a deal. But it is. It's totally strategic. It's planned out. It is not coincidence.
There's no coincidence. All the little codes and everything, the whole language, the whole life is just demonically controlled and designed to break you. It steals, kills, and destroys anything good. Your best friends in the meth game think the exact opposite of how God sees you. They will sleep with your boyfriend in a New York second for a bag of dope. They will take your spot. They'll cut your throat. My best friends robbed my house the night I went to jail. They saw me on the news. The police told me, they're like, they're in your house right now, robbing your house. I'm like, yeah, So I was blessed to watch every one of them walk away, and not one of them wrote me, not one of them came to see me. No one cared. I was a distant memory, like smoke in the ashes, and I was blessed by that. When I got out, I hit the ground running, and I never looked back. I put those people, those places, and those things in the rear view, and now I'm out here serving God. I mean, that book, you read the chapter, you're reading the chapter that's The Driver Stakes is High. Is that not a trigger warning? Can you not feel yourself in the trap houses? The needle going. your arm. You can feel what it's really like to live that life.
Absolutely. It is such a clear depiction and brought back so many memories for me. It was definitely, I had to take it in small bites because I was like, wow, this is intense. It's almost like walking back into a flashback,
Right.
of that life. Like it is truly like, wow, that,
Right.
and it really, it has also brought me like a lot of clarity for things, because when we're in this, we think that oh, this is meth psychosis. Oh no, you're just crazy. Oh no, you're just seeing things. You need to go to sleep. You need to get off the drugs. I went in and out of the mental hospital 8 different times because I
Right.
kept seeing all this demonic stuff, and for me, mine was it was a satanic cult, and they were led by a Freemason. And
Right. Yeah.
so I kept saying like, I keep seeing these people and they have this black hood and they have this black cape and they're like, no, you need to go to sleep. Like you're on drugs. And it was like, no, they were really there. Like
Right.
that was real.
Those things weren't made up in your head. What are demons' main job? To torment. They make you think you're crazy because they want you in a mental institution where you have no rights as an American citizen, where no one will listen to your words. Everything you speak is, you might as well be in outer space. Nobody's listening to a crazy person. Your spirit's gone and it strips you down of everything from your freedom to the people that love you to even your voice. No one will listen to you. But now, if we find recovery, now look at my life. I was in a mental institution, right? A lot of shame that goes along with mental health and that type of thing. Methamphetamines did that to me. But when I came out, I didn't care. I knew that God had a plan, right? I wrote a 718-page book with a 10th grade education, right? And you've read it. It's pretty decent.
It's
Okay.
amazing. It's amazing. Don't sell it short, Patrick.
I wrote, I wrote, I wrote that book in 6 months to the day while I was homeless, and I never read it, never changed not one word. God wrote that book through me, as bad as it is, so that the truth about the meth game could be exposed. Now, the next one I'm writing, Deep Washington, that's about the total transformation, about what God did in my life after. But I have sold millions and millions of dollars since I've been out. Okay. I got married to my soulmate. I've achieved things that I never felt in my wildest dreams would come true. And it's only the beginning, but it's because I pushed through the shame. I trusted God's plan for my life, and there was nothing that was going to stop that. So if you're watching this and you're in those chains, if you're in a trap house watching this video looking for answers, like I did with Derek Prince's Demon Gangs video, just know that you could turn right now, go get help right now. The life of your entire dreams and even beyond is available to you when you follow the Lord Jesus Christ.
So, okay, now I want to address something with getting help. Now, moving into like the getting help part. Why
Mhm.
is it that we cannot do it on our own? Because I hear this a lot. People, they don't want to go into, a community, a sober living, a recovery, a detox, a church. They want to internalize and do it on their own. Why is this not possible?
Well, who does that sound like to you? What's the hallmark of Satan? It's division. He wants to keep you alone and isolated. Now, treatment's great, sober living's great, church is awesome, 12-step meetings are awesome. I would say pray, find the people who really love you first. Family, try to go and repent and go and apologize. Get some people on your team, get a core of your team. Then go into a 12-step group, whether it's Celebrate Recovery or any of the other ones. They're all good. I go to everything. I go to everything because I spread the gospel wherever I go. And I would say get a core group of people. But if you want to be alone, recognize that that is the enemy whispering his snarling voice directly in your ear, trying to set you. As soon as he gets you alone, he's going to send you the demon controlled people to whisper in your ear to get you to go back. And I can't tell you, when I was quitting drugs every other day when I was out there, I can't tell you how many times I'd be walking down the street and somebody would come up to me and say, "Hey, Boston, I got that gram I owe you." And I'm like, "Where were you the last 4 months?" The devil will try to use anything to rope you back in, and division is a hallmark of the devil. If you feel like you should be alone, that's exactly when you should not be alone.
Exactly. Because that's something that, that I'm seeing a lot just recently with people. And I know it's, ongoing, but recently there's been like a huge spark of people who are trying to do it like on their own. And I'm like, no, you need community, you need support, you need help. And I think that also, could be like pride too, and the enemy trying to keep us in guilt and shame, and especially as parents. So, can we talk about, like, as parents, how to move forward in forgiving ourselves for the things that happened?
Right. And I mean, did you read some of the shameful things I put into this book? Okay. When I wrote those, I was releasing stuff like that on the internet from the inside. The shame and everything that lifted on me, once I lifted the shame off myself and accepted me for who I was, that allowed me to change. And boy, did it feel like an elephant stood up off my chest. Hey, I was sick. This is who I used to be. But then I invented and built the man that God showed me. And it's working out great. There ain't nothing that you've done out there that somebody else hasn't. And I've probably done that twice and maybe even something else more. It's okay. God knew about it and he's still saying, come on home anyway. It don't matter.
That's so true. That's so true. I was just talking about that, because when I started talking about the things in my TikTok series, it was really just for me to like process, because I felt like I never, had a voice, and I was getting out these things, these shameful, guilty things that I did, that I took part in, knowingly. And me being able to say, like, yeah, you know what, I did these things, but that's not who I am anymore. Like, I
No,
have been completely reinvented. Like you were saying, like, I now I work for God. Like, I don't work for the enemy. I don't co-sign his tactics. I don't participate in any of that, um I lay down my life, and with me laying down my life, that's laying down and putting out all my shameful things, all my guilty things, because they don't have power over me anymore. They no longer have power over me. I have been forgiven for them. I have forgiven myself for them. I've been restored in these areas, and you can be restored in these areas too. Your children can you can have relationships with them again. um,
right.
these things can be restored. It does take time, but we should just keep pressing forward and doing the next right thing, and the things will happen. The gifts of recovery will come through for
Right.
sure.
And like the cast of characters out there, it's all a big sham. Once we realize the devil's controlling everything, I look at your story about the doctor and the pills, right? And I look at that and I'm like, the devil was controlling the whole situation. He sent you there to break the doctor there to break you. Everybody was losing except Satan. It's all a great illusion. When we think we're getting over on people, they're really getting over on us. The devil's winning, the enemy's winning, our lives are broken and destroyed. Once we escape that and we realize that it's all a big sham, the devil has no power over us anymore. And now we can harness everything for good and light, and we can become exactly who God intended us to be.
Right. And you can, and I promise you now, you can have these amazing dreams. You can have amazing jobs. You can have, the things that you never thought were possible without getting them through selling drugs, through prostituting, through, all of these demonic pathways. Like, you can truly have your dreams, with God's blessing. And
If,
God
dr- if
will.
drug dealers owned cars, I wouldn't have been able to support my habit. There's a reason why everybody's broke out there when they're making $10,000 a month. It's you're set up to fail. It's on illusion. If you're in the game, you'll never be nothing in life, and that's just a fact. It's designed to keep you down. There's no way to get out. There's no way to get back into reality until you break the chains, the soul ties from that whole area of life. Leave the carnival now. The party's over.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I love that. Get off the Ferris wheel.
Right. The merry-go-round is demonic and broken. Get off before you fall off.
Yes, those are not real horses. Just
No,
keep.
those horses eat people.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Oh my goodness. This is going to be a great thumbnail.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. What else? What else can we talk about?
Um, I just want to say that if you have a loved one and you don't understand the strange, mysterious ways that they've been acting, they're like a zombie, they don't sleep, and they're on meth, and you can't understand it, go ahead and pick up the book. I wrote it from a few different angles. I wrote it for the addict who's still trapped. I wrote it for the family who doesn't understand, and I read it for the kid who's trying drugs for the first time to show them what could happen, and I think that it's important for us to say the truth is in that book. And if you got family, you have to understand how deeply they're in, and it's not just a drug, it's a spiritual cage that they're living in, and I think that that book explains it, and it also shows the way out.
Absolutely, absolutely. And um when people do have, family in there, it's such a fine line between loving someone where they're at, having hard boundaries, and just continuous prayer and doing
Right.
warfare for them like every day. I mean, it's
Do not give them a place to stay. Do not let them use your car. Do not give them money above all things. But I mean, a meth addict can use the house that you open to them to invite the most evil, demonic crowd of carnival workers you've ever seen into your house. And that invites all kinds of crazy stuff. And if you've got a Florida crash on, that's a way for them to get high.
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
My poor dad, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear
Wow.
you. Yeah, my mom too. I had a guy actually that was, part of that cult, and he actually ran me over in my own car in my mom's driveway, ran over me went through my mom's house. Thank God my kids weren't on the other side of that wall, okay? Because they were little at the time. And I was so messed up in this whole meth circus carnival here, that when the cops came and they asked me, did he do that on purpose? I was like,
Yeah.
why would he do that? He loves me. Like, I was
Right.
so, they were like, but Miss Tall, there's skid marks in the driveway right here. Like,
Yeah.
we're pretty sure that he did this on purpose. And I was just
Right.
mind blowing. What? You mean he tried to kill me? What?
Right. And then the word snitch is about the worst thing that you could be called out there. It could get you killed, this, that, and the other thing. And you've got to live within the rules of the game. And nowadays, to me, the rules of the game are absolutely insane. You're sitting out there protecting a bunch of people who would flip on you in a New York second. Half of your friends are probably confidential informants right now who are give me three out and then you go free type situations. I mean, how are these people, now that I look back, how are they running around free, doing the things that they were doing when I know some of them got caught?
Mm-hmm.
You've got to ask yourself, and there's a lot of Judases running out there in the game, and they don't care about you. So every time you do a drug deal, every time you talk about drugs, every time you do a prostitution deal, all this stuff, your friends are telling on you. And you might as well just go ahead and assume that.
Absolutely. That's so true. That is
The
so
same one's calling you a snitch.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
When
Yeah.
you're not, they are. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Right.
Oh my goodness. So in order to get out, so you're stuck in this thing. Now you ended up, how did you end up in the mental institution?
Well, I beat a felony one case on an insanity defense at the last second. It was really a miracle. So I went there, but I was already mentally healed from the methamphetamine substance abuse. It was an overnight miracle healing, and I had to go there for a safety evaluation. So I was sane in that place, and I came out with paperwork saying that I have no axis one diagnosis. I was diagnosed as a meth addict, methamphetamine substance abuse, because they did a thorough evaluation with a team of 20 doctors, treatment team, and they determined that it was basically a big mistake. I went there and I never should have gone there, but God had a plan. And I
Mhm.
walked out of there a completely free man with no criminal record. I always ask myself, why? because he knew where I was going next, and I couldn't go there with felonies. So he took care of me. And the only reason he chose me for this mission, Jamie Tall, was because I got a big mouth and he knew I'd tell everybody about all the miracles. That's it.
Isn't that the truth? Saved by
Yep,
the blood of the Lamb and the word of your testimony.
that's right. Yeah. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
I can take a beating and I got a big mouth. That's why he selected me for this mission. But you know what? I'm glad he did. I wouldn't change a thing. So
Yeah, absolutely. I can relate. Yes.
yeah,
Like, oh, she will share her whole life on the internet.
right. You know, people hate what we're doing, Jamie Tall. People hate what we're doing. People and the devil absolutely hates us. You can expect opposition when we start talking about things like this. I've been speaking on this for 3 years now, and I can't tell you how many people have attacked me, called me crazy. I mean, you're being gang stalked in the recovery realm. That's crazy to me. When you're trying to spread a message of truth and Christ and everything, and you have swarms of people coming to hate on you and tell you that you're crazy still and all this. You know what? I don't listen to them. I know who sent them. They're not going to take me off the mission. Look at the response we got from that last video. It's amazing when you start talking about something that's truthful and real, how people respond to it, because now everybody's starting to have the courage to say, you know what, that happened to me too. And you know what, I had those same experiences. So what we're doing is opening a door for truth, and we're just forging the path for other people, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely, and giving a voice to people who may not have had courage to speak up. So being like a voice to the voiceless.
Right.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Boston Born Again, this is an awesome book. I'm definitely going to put the link in the description. I know some people who have already got it.
Really?
Yes, some
That's
people
so
have already
awesome.
got it. Yeah, and I'm going to continue, reading the excerpts from it because it's so relatable. It is so good.
People in Canada are reading that book right now. I'm like, they must have a meth game up north of the border too, you know? I guess it's everywhere now. So that's good.
Yes, yes. So Fire and Ice, the Meth Bible by Boston Born Again. You can get this on Amazon. There's a Kindle version and a paperback version. I liked the paperback version because I like to have it in my hands.
Right.
Super, super truthful book. I mean, this is true life of the meth carnival. True.
I had to put that book out myself because no publishers would touch it. I was shopping it in 2020 and nobody would touch a book because it's that honest, that truthful, and that explicitly real.
Yeah, well, everything is controlled one way or another. So
Right.
this book's going out no matter what.
Right.
Publishers can't stop it.
Nothing was going to stop that.
Nothing's gonna stop it. Oh, well, awesome. Well, it's so good talking to you. As always, congratulations on all the amazing things that God is doing in your life. And thank you again for being a voice to the voiceless and giving people courage to say, you know what, if he did it, so can I. So thank you for that, for sharing your testimony. And we will be doing more talks. This is not the last one. So
get out of the carnival now. The cotton candy is made of poison.
That's right. That's right.
Leave now.
Yes, you don't know what's in the middle of those candy apples. You don't.
That's right.
You don't
Razor
know what's
blades in hell. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Make sure you subscribe to Jamie Tall on YouTube, and we will see you next time on Recovery Inspired Hope.